Welcome to Trade Pro. Let's talk about Bitcoin, S&P 500, dollar currency index, euro against the US dollar, and gold, and talk about where they are likely headed next. So let's get into things after a quick shout out to my affiliate Capitalize.ai. Capitalize.ai allows traders to create and automate their trading strategies just by typing them out in plain English with no coding knowledge required. You can simulate, backtest, and deploy strategies all from your phone and all completely for free. Check it out with my link in the description down below, along with my other affiliates as well as my Patreon page. Thank you. All right, so starting with Bitcoin on the daily time frame, what is likely going to happen next? Well, we can talk about this a little bit within the context of an overall downtrend, which we've been talking about in all of the market report videos, looking to short pullbacks to get in at a discount and join into the overall downtrend as a trend trader. That is how I trade. So we're taking a look at this and it's still in a downtrend. What will change my bias about this not continuing to the downside anymore? Well, first I would need to see this broken, so it's no longer holding this lower high, and then also price coming up over the 200 period exponential moving average and consolidating over it. Once I see that happening, then I'm going to switch my bias and I'll be looking for continuation to the upside and perhaps a longer term uptrend. The bottom may be in, and you'll see me switch that bias as soon as we see one or both of these things happening. But for the time being, my bias still remains with the main trend, which is to the downside. And so what I'm looking for is continuation to take out these lows here. So I do believe that the most likely scenario, as things stand at this moment, is a continuation move to the downside, looking to take out the lows here at around 15,500. So looking for a lower high to be set and then putting in a lower low. Whether the exact peak is in at this very moment, I can't say that for sure, but I think it's likely that this has peaked and we'll see this follow through to the downside and take out the lows from here. So that's my prediction at this very moment, my opinion on the matter. And I've already said what will switch my bias and have me more bullish and looking for a longer term uptrend. But at the time, still bearish in my opinion until something changes and the market tells us that it's time to start being more bullish. Okay, so right now that's my opinion. We'll move on to S&P 500 daily time frame, where I've also been talking about continuation of this overall downtrend. Price came up to the 200 EMA, bounced off it a couple times, kind of chopped up and down over it. We got some bearish divergence on the stochastic RSI in the overbought territory here. Got some double peak short entries a couple times. And I still think that the most likely scenario is we're going to hold a lower high compared to this previous lower high in this downtrend, and then head down and take out the lows down here at around 3492. So looking for this to still continue down and eventually take out the lows at around 3492. That is my opinion as of how things sit right now. And of course, what will change my bias for a trend direction shift? Well, I'll need to see structure taken out here, so no longer creating a lower high in the overall downtrend, and also a consolidation over the 200 EMA. So we just don't have the ingredients yet to flip bias suddenly and expect a major trend change when the market hasn't presented any information that the trend is shifting yet. So that's what I'll be waiting for. First, right now, I believe the most likely scenario is this heads to the downside and takes out the lows. And that's how I will change my bias. It says if we see the trend break to the upside, no longer creating lower high, consolidating over the 200 EMA, which it has not done yet. It's popped over the 200 EMA briefly with no consolidation and just head straight back under, just like it's done right here. And now we see it heading to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for right at this moment, and I've already stated what will change my mind about that prediction. So we'll move on to the dollar currency index, where this is come under the 200 EMA, but right now what I believe is the most likely scenario is somewhat of a bounce from here. So this is pretty extended to the downside. It's extended off of the rejection zone indicator, so off of the 20 and 50 period EMAs. It's below the 200 period exponential moving average. We're getting regular bullish divergence on stochastic RSI on the daily time frame, so it would be normal to see a somewhat of a bounce at least here, if not a decent sized bounce. So if we see somewhat of a bounce here, then some follow through to the downside. That would probably be the most likely scenario, in my opinion. If we see this bounce happen and it's a strong one, then that's going to be a bad look for the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. That's going to likely send these down, especially Bitcoin to new lows. S&P 500 not quite as close as Bitcoin to the lows there, but for at least Bitcoin, if we see dollar currency index make a strong move to the upside, very likely to see Bitcoin follow through to the downside out of there. So right now, with it under the 200 EMA, it's just kind of popped under there. It's still really close. So I don't have a lot of conviction here. But with the bullish divergence, a bounce would be likely, at least a bounce, if not a full follow through to the upside. If we zoom out to the higher time frame trend, we have a long-term uptrend. So there's the potential that this is just a larger pullback within the context of an overall uptrend. So I would not be surprised to see this make a full follow through for a higher high to take out the highs here as well. So just keeping that in the cards. But with it being under the 200 EMA right now, it does look a little bit more bearish. It did break structure in multiple ways to the downside here. So this may be a full trend reversal, but we just don't have enough information yet to tell us that this is either a full trend reversal or just a larger pullback within the context of an overall uptrend. So if we go out to a higher time frame, it still looks like there's potential that this does look like just a larger pullback within the context of an overall uptrend, and it may continue for a new high. But that we'll have to see how the market presents itself to kind of get more information. Right now, my most likely scenario would be at least a bounce and then follow through to the downside. If we get a rejection right out of the rejection zone indicator and then heading to the downside, that's probably going to be where I'm standing as far as if I had to make a call about it. But I just wouldn't want to make a really strong prediction about this chart right now just because it's not giving a lot of clarity. But with the bullish divergence here, few times on stochastic RSI, definitely think that we'll see at least somewhat of a bounce before any continuation down, if not a full trend continuation to the upside. So let's move on. Euro against the US dollar, also coming over the 200 EMA here. So what we want to see once we're breaking structure to the upside in multiple times, so no longer creating lower highs and lower lows like it has been throughout this overall long-term downtrend. So we may be seeing a shift in the market, but we just don't have enough information yet to make a strong call whether this is a full trend change across the market or if these are just larger pullbacks before continuations of the longer term downtrends or uptrends. So this could just be a larger pullback before we see full follow through to the downside. But when price is sitting over the 200 EMA like this, it's important to look at the market and say, okay, how is the price action behaving? If we see this chopping and consolidating over the 200 EMA, that's what I would want to see to expect a continuation move to the upside. So as of right now, it's too extended to the upside to really be taking a fresh position. But if we see this behave in a manner that is consistent with, a nice consolidation over the 200 EMA, holding the rejection zone indicator at the 20 and 50 EMAs as well, then I'd be looking for a continuation move to the upside. So this one right now, I just wouldn't do anything with it until we have further development of the price action. But I do believe that it's likely to see a trend continuation move to the upside if we get this type of price action. But it's also going to depend what the dollar currency index does. So we do need to wait for further development on both dollar currency index, euro against the US dollar, S&P 500. There's still more to be seen to really tell us what the market is going to do next. So there's quite a bit of uncertainty, and with the way we're seeing kind of mixed bag of signals with the market structure break coming over the 200 EMA, and then we see that we just don't have enough price action development yet to make a good conclusion. The best thing to do is just wait and kind of see how it pans out and what happens with this price action, whether we see this just shoot straight back under the 200 EMA and blow through the rejection zone indicator like it's nothing, or if we see this consolidate over and find support up here, then we have a different story. So that's what I'll be watching out for to kind of make a better determination of where price is likely going to head next. So let's move on to gold. With gold here, it has been in a downtrend, but we actually just saw it break structure to the upside. So we're seeing quite a few structure breaks, major one right here, another major structure break right here. So both of these are bullish structure breaks, so no longer creating lower highs, and it ends this one here specifically out of the pairs is consolidating more so in a nice way over the 200 EMA, over the rejection zone indicator. So if we can see this consolidate and then head to the upside, I believe that's the most likely scenario going forward here with gold, the way that things stand at this moment. We already have stochastic RSI kind of fully resetting down into the overbought territory. So it is a good sign that we may see full trend continuation to the upside here on gold. So this one looks more bullish than euro at the very moment, just because we do have a bit more of a sideways consolidation over the 200 EMA, but still it's a fresh trend change, so we don't quite have a full confirmation yet, but I think that this one is looking quite a bit more bullish than some of the others as far as trend continuation moves to the upside goes, now that it is over the 200 EMA and consolidating with the stochastic RSI being fully reset here. If we see this holding over 200 EMA, holding the rejection zone indicator as well, and consolidating more, then that's a good sign that we're going to see more follow through to the upside. So that's what I'm going to say is, in my opinion, the most likely scenario going forward with gold. All right, so that's going to complete things here for this video. We'll see how these things play out, and you can watch my previous market updates and market report videos to see how my calls played out. It's been quite accurate throughout my market reports and market update videos that I've made. So you can take a look at the old ones if you want to kind of see what I said in the past. But anyway, let's take a look in a week or two and see if anything has changed. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.